Well, good afternoon, it's Warren again. Yes, I've got my reading glasses on. Anyway, today's video is a little bit different from the normal stuff. The channel's obviously growing and people are getting to know me a bit more, and I've been recently tagged. I think I did a tag video a few weeks back, and put the challenge out to some other people, but this sort of tag video is caught on. We've had Simon from Land of Smiles. He's tagged me in a video, wanted me to cover more information on my motorcycle and some more riding. So that's what we're going to do a little bit from here. And another video, another tag was from Andy Wright. He runs his channel name is Andy Wright. Don't worry, I'll put the links in the bottom description box, so you can go and check these channels out. But Andy wanted to know what sort of gear I run for building my channel. So I thought, well, let's start with that and cover that one off first, and then we'll go downstairs and take a ride on the motorcycle. Anyway, cue the intro and we'll catch up in a second. And look who just walked in the door. Hello, darling. You come home from work.
Hello.
Give me a kiss now.
Yes.
Give me a kiss now.
No.
Kiss me.
No.
Kiss me.
I try.
Why?
Why? What?
You have a good day at work?
Yes, have a good day.
Good.
Why you?
Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so Andy wanted to talk about the different camera gear. Okay, so the camera I use when I'm doing water shots or anything that has a situation where the camera might get wet, because my main camera is not waterproof, I use this SJ5000 sports camera. It comes with a case. This is the case used for mounting on my bike, and it also has a different back there, which makes it completely waterproof. So you swap the backs out depending on the use. This is like the handle I use when I go swimming. It's actually, if you drop the camera, at least the camera will float on the water. There's a whole bunch of other bits and pieces in my camera drawer. I've used this camera from time to time, this Nikon Coolpix. I did some shots last year, I think the year before last. I did some video with that. I've also used this Canon and this Nikon. I used to use this JVC, but it's only a 720p camera. But it did the job, for a couple of years there when I was doing all the local shots, when I was out there with doing the cabaret shots. And I also have, oh, that's right, down here, that's all the rest of the bits and pieces and stands and, you name it. I also have the Canon EOS. The Canon EOS I use basically now for my still shots. I don't use it as a vlogging camera, simply because of the fact that these SLR cameras don't have what they call continual autofocus when you're using the movie functions. Well, at least that model doesn't. Maybe some of the more expensive models do. Anyway, so that's sort of the main stuff from for the camera. And of course the main camera, I'll just swap cameras over now so that I'll show you what the main camera features are. Okay, now of course you'll notice that there's a different audio now. This is the audio from the SJ5000. It doesn't come through anywhere as clear as the Panasonic, but this is the main vlogging camera I've got here, which is a Panasonic HC580M. It's a dedicated handycam style camera. I find it very, very user-friendly and comfortable when I'm taking my shots. You might have seen me in some shots there where the camera's, like showing up in my reflective sunglasses. But it's a nice, easy to use camera. Some of the features I do like about this camera is the fact that it's a very easy to run. So this is in the off position, right? Just a simple flick there, and that's now ready to shoot. That is one of the main things I really like about this camera. There's really no buggerizing around getting ready to take a video. No more than 2 seconds and I'm ready to shoot something with the camera. Another feature it has, which I really like as well, is flicking this thing here out. It has down here, you can see a second, I don't know how the macro function works on this camera, but when it has a second lens, which then you can face yourself when you're taking your video. Somebody asked me about that the other day. So it's a camera with a camera. So it's actually a 2-lens camera. It's a pretty unique feature of this particular model. It has a 90 times X optical zoom, so it really works good for those long range shots, except for the fact that with the long range shots the camera is almost impossible to steady. But hey, that's the way it works. So yeah, so the thing flicks out, that's ready to shoot, and of course when I'm facing myself, I can flip the screen around like this, and I can see myself in the camera, and there we have me in the camera shooting myself with the camera. Sort of vlogger vlogging himself vlogging. Oh my god. Anyway, so that's the basic gear I've got, and as I said, the Panasonic really does quite well. It's a full 1080p, and it's been a very, very useful camera. And I love the features that it has. People rave about the Canon still, like the what are they, the G7X and other cameras, but quite frankly, I've been through a lot of cameras, and these handycams really excel at taking video and making the whole video production very, very easy to do. Okay, so that's my camera gear. So that's the tag video from Andy. So that's the gear I'm running. That's what I use. The only thing I bought while I was over here was the SJ5000. All the other stuff I brought with me from Australia, and has been bought over the years. The Panasonic was bought, I think, April last year, May. I come back from a trip in April when we did last year's Songkran, and I realised I wanted a better camera because I was using. I think I shot that one with my Nexus, my Nexus phone. Actually, the first vlog I ever did was. It wasn't really called. We didn't call it vlogging 8 years ago or 7 years ago. Well, I suppose it was called vlogging or video log. But the first thing I ever shot, the video is actually still on my back catalogue. It was shot on a Nokia N82, which still only had a 4:3 screen resolution. So I've been doing this a bit of a while now. I didn't really seriously start doing the vlogging thing until about 4 weeks before the final move over here. I did the video in August when we went out to the Impact Centre to look at the furniture show, and it was that holiday that I realised the fact that I was putting off the inevitable in Australia. And it was sort of, I went back at the end of that 2-week break, walked into the boss's office the next day, and basically handed my resignation, and I said, look, I'm just kidding myself, I want to be in Thailand, I don't need the money, here's my 4 weeks notice. Which really sort of set a cat amongst the pigeons because they really didn't think I was going to do it. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to take a wander downstairs. I'm going to set the camera up, the SJ5000 up on the bike, and we'll take a quick ride around the Moo here because I don't think I've actually sort of done that sort of video. I always do it at a high speed, but this time I'm going to do it low speed, so you get an idea of what it's like. It's coming up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's actually quite a sight to look at the main street in the soy here. Just the activity with everybody getting ready to have their nightly dinner. So that's what I want to capture today, and show you guys around where we are here in normal speed motion. I'll also put on a clip on microphone so that hopefully we can sort of have less wind noise with the whole operation, because it gets, you won't be able to hear me on this camera. So I have to work out some way of being able to sort of, cut the sound down and run on a microphone system. So we'll see how that goes. Well, I guess the first thing we need to do is we need to get the cover off the bike. Oh my god, I think I'm going to set the alarm off. Yeah, so we do leave the bikes locked up. So there's what they call a hub lock on this thing. And of course I do need an extra pair of hands for this, and Chanya wants to lie down and rest from working all day, so I'm going to have to do this myself. So yeah, I just mount the camera up on here. It goes this little bracket I've got on my handlebars. Alright, so it goes on there, and I just whack this pin through and tighten that thing up. Just takes a bit of setting up. But I'll just switch over to the other camera now and we'll go for a ride. I better give you a look over the bike as well, since you wanted to see what the bike was all about. I don't think of it much. Anyway, so it's a single cylinder, 150cc. I don't know really what you call this. Like it's single back swing arm, single shock. I think the thing I like about the bike the most is it's got the wide tyres like a regular bike, because on these smaller bikes that you see running around here, you get a lot of concrete on the road and lots of gaps, in the concrete joins, which can really throw your steering. So having the wider tyres just makes it steer a lot easier, especially at higher speeds. It's water cooled or liquid cooled. It's a closed system. You don't actually have to put anything in it. As far as, well, not that I know of. I haven't found any filling holes. 6-speed, chain driven. It's just a generally pretty sweet bike to ride, and it's got a top speed of 150 kilometres an hour, which is perfect for Thailand driving. The thing gets a bit hairy after about 100 kilometres an hour. Well, hairy in comparison to not driving 100 kilometres an hour. It's not like it's dangerous or anything. I've had it up to 130 without any problem. But yeah, so that's the bike itself. It's just a nice piece of equipment to run around on. As I said, I bought two of them. I bought one for her and one for me. The total on-road cost on this one here was 94,000 baht. I know I could have got a 150cc Thailand built bike, but they just didn't have the style, and they run in around about 60,000 baht for 150cc. But the Yamaha M-Slayers, it's the bike everybody likes. It's probably they've got the highest theft rate as well, because people steal them. That's why we leave it locked up at home, and when we go out anywhere, I put a lock on the back, a lock on the front, and lock the helmet to the bike as well. You know what it's like. Anyway, let's go for a ride. Okay, so this is the moo that we live in here, or our little estate. As you can see, all the terrace houses look pretty much identical. Not much I can really tell you about it. In comparison to most of the housing estates around the place, this is fairly modern and newish. they've gone for a single colour scheme. I think as part of the way they manage the whole process of the move, and I believe people aren't allowed to change certain aspects of that, like especially the coloration of the houses. Everything's sort of all battle axe, of course. There's only one way in and one way out for the move. It's intended to be a gated community. There's the local guy selling the ice creams at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There's the most local shop that we go to. Usually buy our beer from there, and ice and a few other odds and ends. We're just past the actual gate to the community. This is into now Soy 106, which is like the main part of the road. And just on the right there is our 7-Eleven. I think I've taken you around here before. And then I just go down, this is the main street. This is what I'm talking about. This is now peak hour in the Soy. You have to contend with bicycles, cars and other riders who have got no clue. It's an absolute shit fight. We try not to get out of here at this time of the afternoon. It usually starts to calm down around about 6:30, which is when we normally go out for dinner. But you know, I don't know if you can actually see this from the camera shot, but nobody ever looks behind them. You ever watch these push bike riders? That's it. They are totally oblivious to anything else that's going on. And see how he just swings out there. Fucking no concern whatsoever about anybody else coming up behind him. One of the things you've got to learn when you're driving in Thailand is you have to have 360-degree vision. Again, taxi driver, who gives a fuck about anybody else? I'm just going to park there. Alright. A simple law they could introduce here is the fact that in a 4-lane road like this, 2 lanes must be left clear for traffic moving in both directions. Make that a law and enforce it, things would get a lot better. There are so many accidents just even happen on sort of these side moves. It is absolutely ridiculous. And of course I'm actually slightly distracted as well, just talking as I'm riding, so it makes it a bit difficult for me as well. So I'm not driving at my normal speed. When I drive on my normal speed, I'm usually driving at this speed here. But as you can see from the shops on the left and right hand side, as we pass back, it's got everything. You know, like effectively you'd never have to leave your move. Or your Soy, you know, this is Soy 106, you know, it's not our housing estate. All the side streets are what I call battle axe. Yeah, there's another type. Couldn't give a fuck about who was coming up on the road there. I've got right of way. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, so if you're going to ride a motorcycle in Thailand, you're going to really have to learn to be super aware of everybody coming in the oncoming traffic and anybody travelling in the same direction as you, because the way Thais are, they just simply do not give a fuck about anybody else. I think I mentioned this in the last video. It's something about, I think, the Thai philosophy. They live for each day. I'm sure that must include the fact that, you know, every day you die that day, you know, who cares? I have really no idea. But you know, so this is our main entrance to the main road. I don't like these 3-story terrace houses. They sort of seem more boxy than anything else. And again, so it's the older part, so no, there's no uniformity in the housing, in the housing colour at least anyway. Yeah, that Nissan's not going to give a fuck, just fucking drive me over. Yeah. Anyway, so the other way out of the soy here, out of the estate, this is another entrance we've got as well. So we've actually got 2 ways in. Right. This way is actually our preferred way of getting into the soy because it avoids all that traffic on the main road. I've been up here a couple of times before and I've done visits to soy 110. And this is what I was getting at about having the wider tyres on the bike. These gaps in the middle of the concrete, they can really sort of upset your steering on the smaller, narrower tyres. Yep, it's a 2-lane road and he fucking won't pull over. You know? Fuck you, fuck you. There's something you just have to get used to when you're driving in Thailand. It's every man for himself. Yeah, and so going down here, this is soy 108. So we've got a sort of back way entrance into our main estate. And as I said, there's no market stalls. So it does make driving in and out of the place a bit easier. And on our right there, these are more of the standardised sort of houses. There's a few shops here, but it's as I said, it's a back way in. And our main road is just down there. I don't go all the way down there, it's nothing much to see apart from my main road, but let's do a spin around again. Got a bit of go. You know how to ride a bike, that is. Just get up and go. And you might remember we've been here a couple of times before. There's a side road there. Coming up here, this is the main clong that circles our estate. I don't know how much you can see there with the camera angle. Right, but going further down that way goes into the Thonburi University, which is closed at the moment. Right. But if I was to go the back way through to Soi 110, I would go down here. At least I'm sure it's down here. I might have it wrong by one. Actually, I think I have got it wrong by one. There we go. Chickens on the road. Is it that one? Or is it that one? I think it's this one. Yeah, so even for the western side of Bangkok, there's still areas that haven't been built up, as you can see on the left there. Yeah, so this is a pathway across next to the Klong, so it's where you go if you want to sort of go to Soi 110, which is just up there. At some stage I do plan to do some rental analysis for this area, but from what I understand, the taxi driver actually let me pass. Look at that. Yeah, so where we are in our little move, having a little more upper class nature to the aided housing. We're now paying $8,000, $8,000 baht a month for our rental. The rental around here, I believe, runs around about 6,000 baht a month, but they are more commercially oriented as well. So you would be either buying something here with the intention of running your own shop, or renting out the bottom floor and you'd be using the back entrance, which I don't know quite how that works. Anyway, so there's the motorcycle taxi stand for the top of the street. That's a 10 baht fare to go down, and 10 baht fare to come back up again. And take a quick short stroll around here. Coming up this way, we've got the entrance to our local temple, and you'll quite often hear the chanting from our house on the weekends from the monks in the temple. And I think I mentioned in the video of gender dysphoria, where Chanya spent 3 years in the monastery as a temple hand. Well, this is the temple she lived in. And it's not like the big temples around the place, but it's very well kept. There's the main temple. It looks like they're doing all right financially. They're putting a new building in. The main bathrooms. Up through here you'll find the various rooms for the monks. This is where the actual monks live on their daily their daily process, or daily whatever they do. I really don't know what the monks do. I haven't studied that much of it. I believe they chant, they read, they learn the scriptures, and they take care of themselves. Through a bit further here. We did the video last November for Loy Katrong. This is the pond or the lake that we floated our candles in. This gate closes at 10 or 20:30, 8:30, and opens at 5:30 in the morning. When we had Loy Katrong on 2015, when I was over here, this was the lake on the right, or the pond on the right. was the one we floated the candles in then. Anyway, so that's the temple grounds. And I didn't turn off my Wi-Fi, so they just emailed me. Anyway, as I said, so this is the gate for our community. They all know me, of course. Mind you, the gate's never actually closed. Anyway, so that's the run around our local living quarters, living area, or our local suburb. I don't know what you really call it. This is the mill barn here, or the estate that's connected to Soy 106, which is again another estate. It's an estate in an estate. Anyway, so I'm going to turn the bike off and turn the camera off. And so there we have it. That's the challenge for Simon. Take a run around on the bike, talk a bit more about the bikes, and the camera stuff. That was the challenge for Andy. So 2 tags done in 1 video. Sorry it's a bit long, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Anyway, bye for now, and we'll talk to you next video.